what was the plan for you guys to continue using the momentum from last week's win against Maine in today's game?
Well, we Rhode Island's back were against the wall too. Just like us, they're 2-1 in the league. They could not afford a loss, and I knew they would give us, their best shot, and we had to give them our best shot. So I got confidence. We got good players. We made some mistakes today, but somehow, some way, we're finding ways to win these games, and that's to have a really, really great season. I mean, you got to win games like this, just games like we did against Stony Brook too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last week you guys kind of had a slow start in the first quarter, but this week was the complete opposite. In the first play of the game, there was the interception, and then in your first drive, there was the touchdown. Tell me what changed between last week and this week to give you guys that early boost in today's game.
Well, they tried to take a shot on the first play of the game, and Aaron Banks played it perfectly, did the technique he's taught to do, and went up and got the football. He's got great hands. And then we moved the ball. We had we popped some runs. We completed some passes, and it was it was a good drive, but kind of not much more after that until the big play to Nick on the 69-yard touchdown pass, which was huge. So great throw, great catch there, and that was huge.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the defense, 5 sacks in the first half, 6 sacks total, and then the 2 important fumble recoveries. Before and during the game, what did you guys see when going against this Rhode Island offense that helped you guys with that success on defense?
We actually have some really athletic guys up front that can rush the passer, and if it gets into just throwing it all over the place like it was with Rhode Island, I'm not sure how many times they threw the ball, but we got guys that can rush the passer, and they've done a great job all year, and to get 6 sacks against them today was huge for us.
Yeah. Coleman, his second career start as a true freshman, he went 13-25 for 195. Tell me a little bit about his game today and how you guys talked to him, knowing that he was going to go up against an experienced team like Rhode Island that he hasn't experienced before.
Well, Cam doesn't let a whole lot bother him. He's pretty cool, calm, and collected. I think he'll tell you this probably, wasn't the best outing by him by any stretch of imagination. But he made some plays for us, no question about that. The big one to Nick obviously was huge, put right on a dime right there. But he's growing up, and he's learning as he goes. Probably every series he comes off, somebody says, well, probably should have done this, but he finds a way to make plays, and pretty cool customer.
Yeah. Tell me about the plays between Cam and Nick and, kind of their connection, because those were 2 really big touchdowns that gave you guys the early lead.
Yeah, the 69-yarder, we had worked on that during the week, and we knew the side we wanted to go to, the corner that we actually wanted to pick on, and we had Nick on his side. Nick's our best receiver, and Nick beat him and got it down the sideline for a touchdown there. So it was great. We found the matchup that we wanted, and you got to execute. You can find all the matchups you want, but you got to execute, and our guys did.
Yeah. Bringing on Wickersham in the second half of the game, what made you decide to bring him in when you did today? After in the second half.
Well, our offensive coaches are smart guys, and there was probably about a little over 7 minutes, I can't remember, and they wanted to bring Kyle in because we actually did have a package for him coming into this week, which was really smart by our offensive staff. So we had a package for him that would allow him to run, to hand the ball off, obviously, and also he can throw the football. I mean, he's proven that. So with that package, we knew we just couldn't hand it off to Savon and get first downs. We knew had to have the quarterback run some in those situations. And big time credit to our offensive staff for making the decision to go with Kyle, and for having a game plan that we could eat up, 6 minutes of the game, which was huge.
Yeah. What did you say to the guys in the locker room to keep the momentum of your first half drives going and just kind of, have them not lose focus to potentially, drop.
Well, I just told him, I just said, just leave it all out on the field. I told him, I said, leave your guts out there, man. Whatever you got to do, fight, claw, leave it all out on the field, play for your teammates. And that's what they did. I mean, they fought in the second half, and that second half flew by. I don't know how it finished up. I looked up at the clock, and man, I said, this thing's almost over. I felt pretty good when it got to 24-10. The one on the sideline, I thought the guy who stepped out, he was out of bounds. I saw his toe hit the white line. I saw it, but they said it stands. But I sat there and looked at it. I was looking right at it. I was right next to it. And but sometimes those things are hard to overturn, and if they don't have the great footage, they can't overturn it from the booth. So they let it stand, and that was a big play. I'm not sure if they score if they don't get that one right there. Or they don't even get the ball back on that last drive because they'd have to use too many timeouts and time on the clock. So it was a big call, but didn't go our way. Some did. Some went our way today. Some didn't go our way today.
Yeah. Once they scored that touchdown to make it 24-17, did you start getting a little bit nervous, or were you just completely confident and cool for the rest of the fourth quarter? Like, we'll be fine.
Well, on that one, you got it. Obviously, you're nervous about an onside kick, and again, Drew Anthony, our special teams coordinator, did a great job. We executed it perfectly, got it to Nick, and we knew we needed a first down. We got 4 on the first run, 4 on the second run. We had it 3rd and 2, and couldn't get. If we get the first down there, the game's over. We didn't get it, so we brought Aaron Trussler in, and Trussler punted it inside the 10, and the guy took a chance to return it, and we got him on the ground. But they had a long field to work with there. So, it was going to be hard for him to get down there unless we just blew a coverage or missed a tackle. And, at that point in time, all you're talking about is just get him on the ground, get him on the ground, get him on the ground, get him on the ground. And we got him on the ground and burnt the clock down to 2 seconds. And the Hail Marys are always scary, but we got that one batted down too.
Yep. Yes, you did. Earlier before the game, I heard in the pregame show, you were talking about your special teams and the importance of them. Tell me about the importance of them in today's game, and especially, leading into this game at practice. How did you guys work together and, practice for any potential scenarios for today?
Our special team's been good all year. I mean, we've really been good. We've covered kicks tremendously. Our kickers and punters have punted and kicked the ball really, really well. So proud of those guys. But the big one that we had was when we were backed up on about the 10-yard line, I think, and he got a 64-yard punt away, which was huge, and that flips the field big time. So, Trussler's been a weapon since he's been here, and we're awful proud of him.
Connecting with Coleman, tell me a little bit about what you saw on those plays today.
We just do what we do in practice, and that's just, and we ran it well in the game, and it was successful, thank God. And that's just like everything, it's just preparation, and it's just making plays, and he's an amazing player. So, I'm glad he's able to get me the ball the way he does.
Mm-hmm. Coming into this game, you guys knew already that there was the potential of like something happening with your playoffs, with your chances in the playoffs. So coming into this game, what was the mindset of the group, knowing that this was a high stakes game, not just for you guys, but for the other team as well?
It's a high stakes game because it was the next one, and nobody likes losing here. So I think that's just what it was. I haven't even thought about any playoff or anything. You got to win the next game. And you got to win the next game, and you got to practice the next practice. I think that's how we are. We're never too high, never too low. We just work. So, thank God that it's been good up until this point. And obviously we face some adversity, and we're going to in the futures. But, praise God for the win, and hopefully that we, continue this.
Mm-hmm. Looking into next week's game, since you guys are already looking ahead into, your next opponent, how are you planning on using the momentum from this game and learning from the mistakes of this game to bring it into next week?
It's just about working hard. It's about being disciplined, and it's about wanting it. It's about caring. That's just what it's about. It's not any game, is necessarily going to spark, at least me personally, to just all of a sudden become a different type of person in a season. I think it starts with the beginning. It starts with how you do it when you lose. It starts with, that first day of practice. And that's what we're going to do. I think our team's done a good job of that. You know, whether we've in the losses that we've had this year or the wins that we've had, I think we've stayed steady in our work, and I think that we just got to continue to build on that.
Bringing down a ranked team during their homecoming. Tell me what's going through your head right now.
I felt good. They're a really good offensive team, and they had some good players on defense. And always feels good to go up and crash a homecoming. So that was good.